What is everyone's worst experience in a session with an artist?
Start with someone. I gotta think of mine.
I got one. I actually got one. I got too many. But like, so one time, a mate of mine hit me up. Was like, "Oh hey, can you come like help me engineer for someone?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, cool." I rock up to the studio. The artist, right, comes like 2 hours late, and then when he rocks up, he's like, "Yo, what's good, mate?" You know, like what? Okay, never mind. No, but he was like, "Yo, what's good?" You know, whatever, blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Oh, you know, I'm like the best singer in Sydney, best rapper in Sydney." Like pretty much, he's just like hyping himself up. And the worst part too, he had a yes man with him. So I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, you know, on these guys again. And pretty much, like, long story short, he was telling me about these bars. He was like, "Oh, you know, I got like the best bars, you know." And he looks at me like this, right, eye to eye, and starts serenading me his whole entire song, not the bar. So he's like, "Baby girl," no, like in my soul, bro. And whenever I would look away, he would always be like this, and then I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, cool, yeah." So like, pretty much, I felt like I was a girl like on a first date, bro. So like, yeah, it's rough.
Actually, that you brought up an interesting point there. Do you think that producers are geared to be yes men for artists? Because it doesn't really make sense, especially if you're like online and like you kind of like want people to use your beats and stuff, but someone sends you like something that's like absolutely garbage. Like I feel like you're incentivized to say that it's fire, so they keep using your beats. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think to a certain extent, that's like a big thing that happens, but it depends on like what you want to be known for as well, you know. Like if you're saying yes to like all these people that are putting out trash things to your beats, people eventually are going to start associating your music with like being trash, and like you don't really want that to happen, you know. So I feel like it's hard to say no, but it's much better to like be honest with them and be like, you can say it in a nice way. You can be like, "Oh, I love your confidence," or like, "I love," or like,
I wouldn't be that confident.
Yeah. Or like, say something. You can say something nice and then be like, "Oh, but I think we can improve this," or like, "Maybe we should change that line," or something like that. You know?
Do you think that in production there's too many yes men?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon,
Yeah,
sure.
I think so. Next question.
I was like, do you think there's too many yes men? Everyone says yes.
No, I don't think so. I think honestly, most people that I work with are like quite honest as well. I think what's sometimes difficult is when you're like establishing a creative relationship with someone, you kind of don't want to scare them off from the jump. So I think it's important at the beginning to kind of, you know, establish a common ground between you and like kind of agree on things that you like, or maybe compliment somebody to begin with, maybe even if it's not your favorite track that you ever heard. But then kind of as you get to know somebody, you can then go in with like, do you know what, maybe the vocals in the chorus need to be tuned a bit harder, or sorry, that's such a fuck you to an artist. I never say that. I
know what you mean.
But you know what I mean. You can kind of go a bit more in on the advice that you give them. But particularly, I think a lot of the time it's just around arranging, because some of the best singers that I've worked with, they're not pitch perfect, you know. Like they have great voices, but it's mostly just about their tone and like telling their story in the way that they do. And most people do that quite well already. It's just they need some refining around, you know, particularly around the arrangement and stuff like that, like where things need to be doubled or things where it need harmonies or things like that. So yeah, kind of establishing that and like maybe being a yes man for a little while, you know, just to establish that relationship with someone, I think is important to get to a point where you can actually work on really good music.
Well, yeah, I don't even think at that point you're being a yes man. You're just building up their confidence because you can see their potential. But I think your point is like you're building a really solid relationship with someone. Personally, I think that's really important, and it's good that you're touching on this, because I love to talk about it with everyone here a little bit more. Like personally, I think maybe a lot of producers don't think about the relationship in that sense. They don't take the extra steps. They just like go straight for the work. What do you guys think about? How do you think as a producer who's never worked with an artist before, what advice would you give them in approaching an artist, and not just for the sake of doing a song, but just to create like a valuable and solid like friendship, I guess, in terms of like something that isn't just transactional and you're making music, they're singing on the song?
Yeah, I do reckon, following back to the other one, but like to answer this question though, I would say like just be genuine. Like if you actually like their stuff, then say like, oh, you know, I really like your stuff, you know, like, yeah, because there's no point, like, you know, if you don't like their stuff and you're like, oh, hey, your stuff sounds so cool, let's work, because like it's not gonna go anywhere, pretty much. And like even if it does as well, like you're not gonna be, you know, as into it or as, you know, like into creating a custom or, you know, a project with them.
Yeah.
You know. But I think as well, sorry. Going back to the other point as well about like being a yes man as well. I do reckon as well it's very important to be honest with an artist, because I feel like when you're honest with them, or even I've experienced this, when I'm honest with them, like they really respect you a lot more for being a lot honest, and like, oh, you know, in the chorus it's cool, but maybe this one note's a bit off, or I think you could do this better or something, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's it's a really good point as well, in that if you don't fully believe what you're saying to an artist, it's hard to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying, Joe, is that building a relationship is super important. And I think for any producers who are kind of new to trying to work with artists and build relationships, there's this really great book. I forget who it's by. Maybe like link it afterwards. It's called The Relationship is in the Project. It's basically this whole framework of like building creative relationships through the projects you're working on. Because it's not necessarily about like, oh, let's go out and have dinner 6 times before we start making music together. Like, it's not that kind of relationship, but it's more that it's really fulfilling to build a relationship with someone when you're both invested in a creative goal and a common outcome. Yeah. And if you're not fully invested in it, then you can't really create a relationship properly. And like you were saying, Paz, people really appreciate it when you give your honest input, because it shows that you're working towards a common goal. We even had a session last night.
I was literally about to mention that.
We were literally like talking with them, because sometimes when I'm running vocal sessions, like, you know, when we've been working with the artist for a few sessions already, I'll just start working quickly, not being blunt, but as in like, if they're doing a vocal take, we'll finish, I'll go, oh, that last note was flat, let's do it again. Like, and just like speed through it kind of thing until it's right. And then they were saying at the end, they're like, yeah, like we have worked with people in the past where they'll kind of like walk on eggshells around it and kind of go like, oh, like I think it was okay, like that kind of thing. And they'll have to be like, oh no, I think it was flat. Like, can we please do it again? Like, whereas they really appreciated that, like we were just able to go like, hey, like we need to do that again. Like it can be better. Yeah. And so I think you build a relationship that way as well, just by showing you're like invested in a common goal.
Yeah. That's what I think. The way you frame these things that you say to them is very, very important, because like it might be easy at the beginning to just like say yes and be like, oh, okay, we'll just get through this, and then eventually when we're better friends, I can like start bringing it up. But something I always like saying to people when we first start making music together is like, when I show them my beats for the first time, right, I'm always like, look, I want you to be completely honest with me with like what you think about this stuff, if you like it, if you don't, because I'm trying to make sure we're making something good together, right? You're not going to like hurt my feelings if you don't like it, you know? And I'm going to be as honest with you as possible too, you know? Like again, they appreciate that. The more, if you say it really early on, it makes it easier throughout the conversation and like throughout the relationship, you know?
Yeah, you're setting like a precedence of like honesty, just like transparency.
You got to frame it.
Yeah.
In the right way.
Yeah. What sort of tips would you give a producer who's never worked with an artist to approach an artist for the first time? I think I've got a lot of mates who produce, who've never really worked with an artist. Like they just sort of hobbyists in that sense. They don't know how to even begin working with an artist. Like what sort of advice would you give those guys?
Just get to know them. Like even outside of music, it doesn't have to be always about the music. But you know, like if you get to know them like in a friendly way, you can bring that into music. And it's even for like when you're correcting them. Like if you're a little bit more personal with them, it's easier to correct them and they'll be a bit more comfortable around you.
For sure. I'm going to correct everyone right now in a personal way. Yeah. Love you guys, you're great. Can we please hold the mics?
Oh yeah, we got
a bit closer. And that's how you work with an artist, guys. You just gotta do it for the betterment of the project.
Ironically, it's the artist telling us what to do this time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, well, as an artist, what is a respectable way for a producer to reach out to you in a non like transactional sense?
Maybe Eli and I can.
When producers, I honestly started with my mates being as producers, so it was a bit easier understanding it. But normally when producers reach out to me and stuff, they send me their stuff, they let me know if they like their stuff or not, and I reach out back to them saying which ones reach out to me, and it just ends up being a conversation in the start. I don't know, they honestly just make you feel comfortable in the start. I think that's the main thing. If you're not comfortable, you're not going to work with someone, you know. And when I started my artist journey, I had my mates, Marco, Kane, and all that. But I had also people just reach me online, and we didn't work in person together, but I would be purchasing beats like online and stuff, and be working online with these people. And they were just great. A lot of these times people wouldn't be pushing you to, get this sale, like buy this, buy that. It was almost like, oh, do you like this? We'd have a conversation, and then it would just go off that, to be honest.
Yeah, you can't approach it from like a... Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can't approach it from a way where it's like, oh, I've got this beat for sale.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to buy this beat? You need to like reach out to them and be like, hey, I genuinely like this hook in your song, or like, I like that melody that you have in this beat.
Yeah.
Talk about the music. Like, talk about that first. And then the more that you get to know them through that, you can gradually start to talk about the more business side of things. But you can't lead with that. It's like, yeah, you just turn people off if you go straight in with that stuff.
I think one thing that's really important as well for like or what I've heard as well, even what I've done approaching artists, is like make sure you do your research as well. You can't just like, for example, you know, like you hit up a R&B artist and you're like, oh yeah, check out my, you know, my crazy hip hop trap beats, like try it out, because like it's not what they're into anyway. And plus you're gonna be wasting your time. You're gonna be wasting their time as well. So like,
yeah, I feel like generally when they hit me up and then I look at their work, they are doing very much my style. It's not like it's just a producer hitting me up that's doing trap, that's doing random stuff. Yeah. I feel like the people that hit me up do like my sound, and it's just like they do want to work with someone that they're more likely to get along with too. Yeah.
Have you ever been hit up by someone that doesn't? Like, that doesn't do your sound?
Yeah, usually they send me just a folder of a bunch of their stuff. And and it's just like a very generic, like, hey, saw your page, sending you this, let me know what you think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never like a hey, how you doing, like, I love your stuff, like, how long you been doing music? It's just, you get to know them better, you get them a bit more comfortable, and honestly makes me more likely to check out your stuff.
Just to touch on it as well, like, I think one thing very important to do as a producer when you haven't had that experience working with artists, or, you know, you're just trying to get your first kind of step into the music industry, is to offer stuff for free. Because when you have no experience, like, you can't expect people to pay for something straight away, you know, that you're making. And it doesn't have to necessarily even be, you know, to the point where like you're compromising your own business, or you're shooting yourself in the foot in the future. Like, what a lot of us do is we put out beats on the internet for free for people to write to, or to release on like non-profit platforms like YouTube if it's unmonetized, or if it's SoundCloud, you know. And I think to us, like, it seems like quite a standard thing because we've all been doing it for so long. But I think to some people who are starting off, it might not seem as obvious, you know. But it's a great way to just build relationships with people, because you know, you're kind of cutting out that like transactional nature from the relationship from the beginning. It's like, look, here's my music. If you have any ideas to it, like, just send them to me. I can like give you feedback. I can do whatever. And yeah, I think it's a great way to like build that relationship with people too, because if you do that stuff in exchange for some type of like contact information, whether it's their phone number, email, something along those lines, yeah, you know, it's a great way to get in contact with a lot of artists like from the beginning, because most people just want to write to stuff, make demos, and they don't want to buy something like straight off the jump. But if you build that relationship with them, like you're gonna eventually land on some type of business arrangement with these people, whether it's they buy a beat off you or you guys arrange some sort of split agreement. I don't know. It's different in all different contexts, but I think that's kind of the best way to get into it and get to that point.
I think that's a good point. And like offering things for free, especially as a new producer, I feel like I'm guilty of it when you feel like a sense of that you're owed something, that you deserve something. And then I think when you have that ego of I deserve to be paid X amount, or this person or whatever, like this person is this, not whatever, then I think it ruins the point of which you're actually at, which is just learning. Like, and if you can get paid to learn, that's even better. But like, I think just coming at it in the lens from I need to learn how to work with artists before they pay me is a way better mindset to go in than being like, oh, I need to be paid by you. I don't even have anything to show you, but I expect payment from you. It's like, I think it's a really good mindset. And I was like, I had that very same realization this year. Just like, sometimes you just think, oh, like we should be working with bigger people by now. But it's like, well, if we were ready, then we'd be working with them. But we're clearly not. So it's very humbling, just remembering that you're still in a learning phase. But on that, what is the best method to make income as a producer in 2025? Out of all the business models.
It's a tough question.
Bro, there's so many. There's so many, man. Honestly, I think especially today, you have to do a combination of everything. Like, I don't see any reason why you can't do a combination of like maybe having like a type beat channel, selling samples, chasing after placements, doing custom work, like sync licensing stuff. There's a lot of things you can do. Like, some things might work a bit better than others, but I think having a good mix of all of them causes like a really good stable income to have, like most of your money from music is going to come from like smaller artists, right? That's the most sustainable thing. So selling to them, knowing how to sell to them, knowing how to work with them is super, super important. So like custom stuff, type beats, that's perfect for that. But then like from type beats, that can very easily lead to like placement opportunities, sync licensing opportunities and stuff, So having that option there as well is very, very important. So yeah, I think you should have a little combination.
Yeah, I do reckon as well. Like, even with me, I try to start with a type beat channel, and to be fair, I wasn't really making any like crazy money off it. Like maybe for like 2 years or something. But like the way I changed my view about it as well was that you can make money off type beat channel. Like it's true, But I think a good way to think about it as well is think about it more as an opportunity as well. So for example, doing like type beat, some custom works. If you're a musician, maybe do some gigs or whatnot. But like pretty much what I started doing, I started uploading on YouTube more for opportunities, because you never know who's listening to your music, right? Because even for me, all my crazy like all the placements I got all from YouTube, just randomly. So so I feel like what Marco was saying, you can't just do the one, you have to do a bunch as well.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people get like stuck in a rut almost, where it's like, oh, this is my thing. I'm like a type beat producer, or like I only do placements, or I only do samples. Yeah. Which is like, it's cool to get to the top of each of those like little industries and stuff. Like it's cool to get there, but you're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot if you're only doing the one thing. Yeah. You're stopping yourself from like growing and actually like getting bigger and bigger opportunities, or like learning a new skill, So you got to do a bit of everything, I think.
And like just to kind of continue that on as well, I think what type beats have been great for all of us for is kind of what Steph was talking about, like using them as opportunities to bring other things from it. So like not only just kind of using them for what they typically would be, like lease sales, but then also off the back of it, like building a big email list, having all these contacts available to you to like send beats to, or to to connect with, because like you never know who could be on there. I've had some big artists like just download my beats for free off YouTube, and then you know, they hit me up saying, "Oh, thanks for sending me this beat over email," but I've sent it out to like loads of people, you know, like you never know who could be kind of coming off the back of that, or even just connecting with other producers through the type beat stuff that you do, you know, because I've had placements come in from either type beats itself or the connections that I've built around doing these type beats, you know, and particularly that, like connecting with other producers through this stuff, because I know it's not like the traditional way you think, oh, like, you know, I'm gonna get cool credits or cool placements or whatever, but yeah, like we're such a tight-knit community and we all tend to help each other out, you know. There's typically like something you do that somebody else doesn't do as well, and if you can kind of bring that value to the table, you know, you're just opening doors for yourself, and sometimes that's even the best way to get yourself those opportunities is through other people who are working, because we all kind of have that common understanding, you know. Sometimes more it's even easier than getting to artists themselves, or even I haven't had anything come through this yet, but I know a lot of people who preach about meeting engineers or songwriters, you know, people who are in sessions with these bigger people, because it could be the case where, you know, typically artists like will work, like the bigger artists who are kind of well established and stuff, they have a team of people that they work with, and maybe there's an engineer that tours with them, or they go to other studio sessions with them, but they'll work with different producers, and let's say there's one session where a producer doesn't show up, like the artist still wants to make songs, you know, so they'll be like, all right, bet, you got any beats? And if you've just sent the engineer loads of beats, he'll be like, oh, okay, bet, shoot, I'll pull these up. And yeah, I've heard of people getting big ass songs through that, through doing stuff like that. So I mean, shout out the engineers too, they're all killing it. Everyone that I know, like they're like the backbone of the music industry. They work their asses off, and yeah, they're so underrated. They really do. Yeah.
As they should be. No.
I'm actually really interested in what you guys are saying about using type beat stuff to kind of build the rest of your like brand as a producer almost. I think for me, like I'm someone who has just gone from self-producing like as an artist to now just doing like custom stuff and being a recording artist. I've never done type beats ever. So how would you, for someone who knows how to produce, like can make music, but is like really trying to like turn this into something through like some sort of type beat channel, how would you, how do you set up a successful type beat channel and create business from that?
Yeah. Well, there's a few ways to do it, and there's no like one size that fits all, which I'm learning. When I started, I was pretty of the mindset that you kind of have to pick one niche and just stick to it. And like to an extent that's true. But like I know there's cases like, for example, I think Ben is a great example. Like he just posts whatever he wants, and like he's built, you know, an audience over like maybe like a slower period of time than like, for example, my channel or Marco's channel, where we kind of came up off. What's the little wink for it? We kind of came off of like one big trend that was popular at the time. Like actually, funnily enough, I kind of built my channel off the idea that Marco's channel was built off. This is before we even knew each other. Marco had originally kind of taken off. When was it? Like the back end of COVID?
Yeah, end of 2021, beginning of 2022.
Yeah. You were doing like Summer Walk or acoustic stuff.
Yeah, just I got lazy one day and I couldn't be bothered making like a full beat.
Yeah.
So I just recorded some acoustic guitar, added some like crappy lo-fi textures in the background. And I was like, oh crap, no one's going to like this, but like I need something to post. I put it up. Like 2 weeks later, it had like 300k views. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this works, bro. I'm just going to keep doing it. But yeah, it works. Like sometimes the stuff you don't expect just ends up doing really well. Yeah,
and that was the same thing with mine. I had actually seen Marco's stuff, and I think I had reached out to him like 6 months before I even had like a type B channel that did well, and I was like, yo, can I send you some samples?
I actually remember that.
Yeah.
You know, I remember exactly where I was when that happened. I was sitting in a Starbucks in Jakarta.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I saw your text. And I was like, oh, I'll get back to him. Just never did.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it goes. Like it's kind of rough when you're getting started and you're trying to reach out to people that way. But like I hadn't really figured out anything that worked. And And yeah, and then I used to run like an R&B drill beat channel.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
R&B/drill.
R&B/drill. Yeah,
Bro, this guy.
yeah, and it never took off.
Yeah, I feel like those are two very different.
Oh yeah. But I thought I was innovating.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it kind of is a thing nowadays, but I wasn't very good at it as well. So, but yeah, kind of off the back of that, maybe like the start of 2023, I saw SZA had just dropped SOS, and I'd seen Marco doing the acoustic Summer Walker stuff, and I was like, fuck, like if this guy can post just an acoustic guitar loop for like 3 minutes with 2 layers, I'm like, I could do this shit as well. So that's kind of how I got into it. And she had dropped her album. Nobody else on YouTube was doing acoustic SZA stuff, and there was like loads of acoustic songs off the album. Not to mention that too, the album was absolutely amazing. Like I was bumping it every day at the time. But I started doing that, and then similar story. Like within like a month, like I had some beats that were a couple 100,000 views, and then I got a message from Marco saying, "Yo, bro, you want to cook up sometime?" So at that point, I knew I made it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Validation.
I've got a question. I've got a question for producers. How do you overcome the fear of reaching out to someone, like cold DMing someone? Because there's a stigma with cold DMing, right? But as a producer with no connections, how do you let people know you exist? Can you sort of give some wisdom on how you can overcome that?
I think a big confidence booster, I know like for me personally, was just having some form of content out for them to see. So in our case, it's like our YouTube channel, you know? So when I reach out to them, I would have like some of my credentials from the YouTube or like something like that up there. So it's like, okay, I at least felt for myself like I have something to like offer them, you know? Or like even just like posting placements or songs you've worked on, or like having any type of work on your profile. Because like if you have nothing on your profile and you message someone, you just look like a scammer. like why would they? I wouldn't respond to you, but like you need something to show them. So having something there. Another big thing is just having your face out there. I know it was a big thing a while ago, like wanting to be a mysterious producer and like, they don't know my name, bro. You know, they just like know the music, like all that type of stuff. But nowadays you're like shooting yourself in the foot with that. The more your face is out there, it's like an insurance policy. It's easier for you to build connections and like relationships with people, you know, when they're like familiar with you.
Yeah, I thought I picked up on that because you messaged Marco. But obviously, even as like a sample maker reaching out to like drum producers, for example, there's a big like, oh, don't spam me. Like, why are you DMing me? Like another person. But it's like, I feel like even though that's the case, you still have to reach out to these people one way or another. Like otherwise they will never know you exist.
Yeah. You know, actually something very interesting about like the face thing. Because like we all like DM artists, right? That we want to work with and stuff. And we noticed across all of our accounts, Paz gets the most engagement by far, right? And I was thinking about it, and I was looking at all of our profiles, and it's like at the time, your profile was just like your logo, right? Like with you, it was like the back of you, and then mine was like, I'm like standing 600 meters away, like you can barely see me. But his, it's like a picture of his face. So like from my account, I think we messaged like maybe like, I think it was from your account. We messaged like 25 people, and you got like 8 responses, right? From my account, it was like something similar. From his account, he messaged 20 people, 18 responses, like immediately. And it's just because all those things. He had the content, he had the placements there, his face was like right there, you know, like people felt like they connect with him a bit more, you know? So yeah, you just gotta just take pics, take selfies and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was also in sort of fashion and stuff. There's this idea of being like anonymous. Yeah. And like it's cool to be mysterious and nobody like anonymity and shit. But I think if you're competing against Paz, who's like posting his face like 4 times a day sort of shit, like you got no chance, especially if you FR. And if you don't post your face, I feel like it really helps with me and Ryan as well, because we have our faces. Like first thing you see on our pages is our faces. I think helps with a sense of familiarity, and I think it's really important. I was having a chat to my friend who wants to sort of get into doing customs today. And I think one of the main problems that he's going to face is because he doesn't really post his face, and it's all like gaming content. So I suggested to him the exact same thing you just said. So like you need to put your face out in a musical context as well.
Yeah, I think one thing as well, because like even if one thing I was kind of like nervous of doing before was like I was like, oh, you know, I don't want to be uploading all my placements, you know, because it's gonna look spammy. But thing is that like no one cares, bro. Just post like whatever. Plus, so at least you know when you hit up someone, they can see all your work or just like whatever beat you have, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, don't be shy. Just do it.
I even feel like at the very start it is a little bit transactional. Like if like an artist doesn't see the value in working with you, why would they work with you? But if they see that you're working with all these popping artists and you've got crazy placements and songs, it's like, oh, they'd be way more willing to work with you.
I think what's really important, especially at the beginning, and I've heard so many people talk about this, you need to build horizontally. So you never try to build at people that are at the level above you, which again it sounds very like, oh, like fuck this, like industry, like whatever, you know, but like it's very important, and it's kind of, you build like at the level that's accessible to you, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, because when you do that for long enough, you'll start to kind of access people who are maybe kind of working with people at the level that you want to be at, you know. And I hate using this as well, because, you know, I think everyone has some value to bring to the table, and, you know, I don't necessarily believe that different people are on different levels to each other, but at the same time, when you're trying to network inside an industry, there is kind of that existing like train of thought, and like, you know, people are busy too. Like it's not easy to get in contact with Metro Boomin or like whoever is working on the next Drake album, you know. But yeah, it's that kind of thing. And I think what's really important too, or what's very easy to do when you're working on Instagram, is to go through like mutual connections. It's typically quite easy to reach out to people who have like 10 mutual people in common with you. Like if they follow 10 people that follow your account, they're more than likely going to respond to you, you know, because you're already somewhat within their circle. But reaching out to someone you have no mutual connections with is typically quite difficult.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
So I saw your page ages ago, like your type beat page, and I wanted to reach out to you, but I didn't know, like this is even before I knew Marco. I just met Zuriel, and it's crazy with the mutual like horizontal thing. Like I was like, yeah, one day we'll do something together. So Zuriel put me in contact with Marco. He said, oh, I just had this session with this Australian producer. I think you should meet him. And he set me up on a call with Marco. And then now Marco has brought you over here. So it really does work. Because like now you're literally sitting next to me. And like 6 months ago, I didn't know you. Yeah, right? But and we both have the same name. But
different names before they met.
I think it was meant to be.
Yeah, no, but it's your point is so valid. Like, just like stop trying to punch too high above your weight, and just see who else is like on a similar level, maybe a little bit further than you, and just start working from there. And then like, but it really does work. I want to ask everyone something. I think for me as a producer, it's been a constant sort of struggle in terms of how am I valuable to people as a producer, but to other producers as well. Could you sort of speak on how people today in 2025 can be valuable in any sense as a producer or as someone in music?
I think like to begin with, I know we all kind of take it for granted because most of us here are musicians. Actually, all of us here are musicians. But yeah, like something like playing an instrument goes such a long way. And I think it's quite funny when we're all in sessions together, because we're all like instrument players. You know, it's always kind of a battle for like who can make the like coolest lick, or like who can like do whatever. But I've been in so many sessions before where people just don't know how to play the guitar, or they don't know how to play the keys, or do, you know, anything live. And like having that is such a cheat code when you're working with people, or if you just make things from scratch as well. It's actually quite rare in the grand scheme of things. Like, I get sent a lot of loops from people, and most of them are like 50% splice, you know. And there's nothing wrong with splice. Like splice is great, but you know, people get very surprised sometimes when I explain to them that everything I make is from scratch, or like even the textures I make, like I sound design all the stuff myself and stuff like that. Like I don't use samples in my beats other than maybe like, you know, one shots of drums or whatever. But yeah, like having stuff like that is super, super valuable. Or if you can sound design something weird that other people don't do is an incredible way to network with people.
I think as well, one thing, if you want to be like valuable, pretty much, the one thing you have to do is like really take yourself seriously as well. Because, you know, you want to be a producer as well. You know, you want to do music as your job. You might as well learn, you know, music. You know, that's the point. And that's how you get better. Because, like, like, thing is the... Whoa! but seriously, though. Because, like, I know it sounds stupid, right? But thing is, though, I've met so many people that like, oh, you're like, don't worry about 808s, bro. Just put whatever. It just sounds cool. Like, it's so low. You're not going to hear the note.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm like, bro, what are you on about? Because, like, yeah, it's really important. Like, honestly, even just understanding, like, just how music works, like, even the basic theory, that will take you a long way in terms of producing. Because, like, you don't need to be, like, the craziest musician, you know? Like, I know people, like they can do music, like, they're cool. But they just have, like, the ear for it, you know? Pretty much. So, like, just really understanding.
That's actually another really good thing there. Because kind of going off of what both you guys are saying, like, obviously getting good at the music is super important. And then, like, learning how to play instruments is, like, a very important skill. But I think another thing is, like, just knowing what you're good at and running with it, you know? Because, like, even for me, like, I'm a guitarist mainly, right? I'm not the craziest guitarist in the world. But when I'm in rooms with people, they know me as, like, the guitar guy. So it's, like, just run with it. Even if it's, like, you want to do other things and, like, you want to play piano and shit, like, run with the thing that you're good at for now, and that'll get you a lot further. Also, the second thing would be, like, just having good taste. Because I've met a lot of producers that are, like, great at making music, right? Incredible, but they have terrible taste in music. So when it comes time to, like, making it, or, like, having decisions, or, like, oh, what do you think about this harmony? Or do you think this layer fits there? They, like, make the wrong choice in a way, you know? It's, like, it's not something that suits the song. They'll do it because it's, like, I can do it. Or it's, like, because it's, like, technical and it's, like, cool and, like, I want to seem like I know what I'm doing. Or it's like sometimes that stuff doesn't need to be there. Sometimes it's important to know when to take shit out instead of putting it in.
Yeah.
So, like, just having good taste and knowing when stuff is needed and when it's not is, like, essential.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, being able to take stuff out when there's too much going on. Yeah, like, if you listen to some of the biggest producers in the world, like one dude I love listening to is Benny Blanco. Who he's, like, you know, he's one of the goats. But, like, in any interview that you hear him talking about, he's like, dude, like, I don't even, like, know how to play instruments. Like, I literally just tell people to take shit out, and yeah.
But that's
like,
really
that's
it.
it. Yeah, he just has really, really good taste. Oh, thank you.
He's got more, bro. He's got so many.
Yeah, he got plenty of them.
Yeah,
or, like, Rick Rubin as well. Like, he's the same. Like, he'll straight up say, like, I don't make music, you know?
Yeah.
I just, like, know what sounds good.
Yeah, that's honestly,
That's
like,
it.
the biggest thing that separates, like, good producers from the best producers.
Yeah,
It's just having good taste.
I agree. I think as well, to be fair, if you listen to, like, a lot of like 90s R&B tracks, if you take away the vocals, man, they sound so cheesy, bro. Like, Let Me Love You, like, We Got So Sick as well. Take out the vocals, bro. It sounds like some karaoke song, bro. It's
They do,
crazy.
like, cheesiest, like, synths.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, yeah.
Like, sometimes, like, the wackest, like, drum
Yeah.
samples as well. But it's
Yeah.
just, like, the top line is so
It
good.
works.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Even like something that I liked about your setup is you have things that people don't have, and literally, like, just having a microcosm makes you so valuable. Like, you just pull up and you're like, maybe you're not a crazy producer, but you just have all this cool shit. They're just gonna be like, oh, well, he has all the cool shit.
By gear.
Yeah.
But, oh, God. Gear is... In Ireland, we use the word gear.
Gear is...
So don't play that gear.
Oh, we use gear for steroids as well here, don't we?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Buy musical equipment.
Correct too.
Yeah, well, but just having things that people don't usually have, I think, or just being maybe, I think what Marco is really good at is just, like, connecting people together. That's super valuable. Like, you've connected us with everyone here today. I I think arguably that's the most valuable thing to do. Just like be a good person, like be someone that someone wants to hang out with. Because I reckon like you could be the craziest producer ever, and if you just can't get like, if you can't just be a normal human and people won't like you in the session, they're not going to make music with you.
Yeah, I've actually had I've had a few experiences with people where that's been a thing where I'm out of respect, I'm not going to say names, but like you meet someone amazing, they're like an amazing producer, incredible, but you can't have a conversation with the guy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's really hard to work with someone like that because when you're making music, you're going to be in a room with them for like 3-4 hours at a time, you know? And if you can't chat to them, like, what are you going to do? Just sit there awkwardly, like, do you like this? Like, there's nothing, you need to
Just
be
an
able,
office job.
It's an office job, yeah. Like, it's like we were saying, like being someone that's likable and someone that people want to be around is like essential in music.
Yeah, that's true. No, because one thing I've noticed as well, it's like when it's like that, that's when it feels like work. You know, it's like 3 hours just like, oh, like what time is it? Like it's looking off, man. Like pretty much if they put something in, you just go like, yeah, sounds cool. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, what else? Yeah.
What is some of the most meaningful moments you've ever had in music?
I've got a few. I think for me one of the big ones was I have a friend that's like a massive snob about music. He's like a complete elitist. So like anything that he doesn't like, he like deems it as trash, right? So we're in the car one day, we're driving down the street, and he's like, bro, I got this song I want to show you. I think like you'd really like it. He puts it on, and it's a song that I produced.
Yo.
And I was like, oh,
Respect,
bro.
Which song was it?
It was a small artist. His name, I forget his name off the top of my head, but it was one of my YouTube beats. It was just like an acoustic guitar thing. He was like an amazing artist, like sang some really cool melodies on it, like very Chris Brown inspired type of thing. But I told my friend, I was like, oh, dude, like that's my beat. And he's like, no, it's not. Like that's not your beat. And I was like, no, I did that. He's like, you're not good enough to make that, bro. But like just that moment was super meaningful because it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's almost like some external validation in a way because like obviously we all think the music we make is cool, you know?
Yeah.
But it's different to hear it from someone else that like you actually like respect and appreciate, you know?
Yeah, we call it. You know, it's funny. The same exact thing happened with Alicia actually. Before, yeah, because he didn't know I produced was it Shameless? He didn't know I produced that song
By who?
by Avenor, and then he was like, oh yo, bro, like check out this song, man, it's so cool. Yeah. And I think Marco told him like
we were in like Bali, and I was like, Marco, you're gonna love this song. And I put it on. He's like, bro, Steph made this. Has made this. I was like, no way. I called him and I was like, I've played this song in front of you so many times and you never told me. He's like, I assumed you knew.
It actually happened a bunch of times with us. It's happened like numerous times. Like
we went fishing and then I was just playing music. He's like, how do you know this song? I was like, oh, it's just on my playlist. And he goes, oh, I made that. And that happened like 4 times.
Yeah, like 4 separate times. Yeah.
Oh, actually, we had another moment like that because we did a trip last year. Not Steph wasn't there with us and Ben wasn't as well, but that's where I met Alicia for the first time and Marco was there. There were some artists there with us and some of our good mates. But it was like the last day. I hadn't showed anybody any of my beats yet by that point, and the last day I was like, oh right, yeah, I should probably show them some of my stuff. We'd spent like a month together at that point, and I played this one, and straight away, Alicia goes, huh, I've heard this song before. Another dude we were with, Taz, a guitarist, he was like, dude, I know this song. And there was another girl with us, Adai, as well, who's crazy talented artist. She goes, wait, I know this one as well. And each of them had heard a different song to the exact same beat. And they were like, dude, that's you. Yeah. And in that moment, I was a bit shaken up. I was like, whoa. Yeah. I was like, shucks.
The funniest thing in that moment, because like I saw him realizing it, and he goes like completely bright red, bro. And he's like with his guitar, and he's like, oh, thanks, guys. Thanks.
I think that was my sunburn.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that was a cool moment because I've been hanging out with this guy for 3 weeks at this point, and he hasn't showed me anything. He showed me a beat, and firstly that beat I was like, oh, I've heard it somewhere. Started looking on Spotify. I was like, oh, where is the song? Turns out I was writing to that song like 6 months ago. Yeah. And I was like, for like 3 weeks we've been hanging out. He hasn't told me like any beats he's been doing or nothing. But I was like, it was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of cool moments working with artists like comes through doing custom stuff as well, like because it's so just like tailored to their vision and like their how they see themselves moving forward. And I think the three of us have had some really good moments of like artists just being like, wow, like I never thought my music could sound so good. Like we've had people say that, you know, and that's like crazy, like for someone to say that, be like, oh, I never thought my music could sound like this. And that's like, you know, well, firstly, it's like, it's kind of like, oh man, like you never thought your music could sound like this. Like, damn, like you like want them to believe in themselves. But then also it's like, wow, like it's so cool that we could make them feel that. And like, I feel like they're progressing in their artistry. Cause like being an artist is so hard. Like it's like near impossible to make a sustainable living being an artist, like independent artist. It's really hard from a money perspective. And so a lot of what you're riding on is that fulfillment of like creating something that you have a vision for. And so just being able to provide that to like people that you've like built a relationship with over a number of weeks is like really huge when they just come to you and go like, wow, I never thought it would get to this place, and it's like better than I ever could have imagined. I think it's just like super like beautiful moment.
It's such a testament to your guys' ability to take some artist's vision and then be able to bring it to life, you know? Because ultimately, like, that's something that they've had in their head for, probably years, you know, before they take it to that point where they're like, you know, I want this to become an actual thing. And then to have them react in that crazy kind of way to it, like, wow, like, I never thought my music could sound that good. Is like, you know, like, Jesus, like, gotta give you guys your flowers for that. Like that's such an insane thing to hear.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Like there's some artists we work with and they'll literally send us a voice memo a cappella. They haven't written chords or anything yet. And like 4 or 5 weeks later we've got a full song. They're like, wow, like this is exactly what I wanted. Like it's like wow, like how did that even happen? Like it's kind of crazy. Think about it.
What's that feeling like?
It's pretty cool. Like I was actually listening back on a bunch of our recently finished songs last night, showing Jade, my girlfriend, and just being like, this is all the stuff we've been working on. And it's just like, yo, like, we just like, all this just came out of thin air. Like, you know, like, and like I wouldn't say we use like a ton of samples and stuff either. Like we play a lot of like live instruments, or at least we're like, maybe like using like drum plugins, but we're like playing the grooves in and stuff like that. And it's just like, you go like, whoa, like this is someone's like creative vision and art, and it's just like come out of nowhere. It's a really, really awesome feeling. Like I think it feels just as fulfilling as like creating my own song.
Wow,
for me, I'd definitely say it's more of like a less about the music, more about like the fact that something's just happened from music. I guess we had one of the artists that we work with, Grace or Karis, she just flew from New Zealand to Melbourne for a week just to make music with us. And like literally like 6 months ago, she didn't even know who we were. Like I just DM'd her on cold DM, and it turns from that into like, we're going out for dinner with her mum in Melbourne and her sister, and we're all just sitting there, and then her mum shouts us dinner, and we're like, bro, like this comes from just sending someone a message online. Literally. And you just never know where it goes.
We'll even see them in New Zealand. I'm going to play guitar at her single launch. But it's just like turned into so much more from what we just started doing one song. We didn't even finish the first song, and then it just like kind of grew into like, oh, we want to work together every week and like do this thing and like just hanging out. When she came here every day for like a week, like we finished a song that we'd started. We made a whole new song, and we did an acoustic version like in that 1 week, because she's just like hanging out here, you know, like.
That's exactly why like you can't be scared to DM people, because like you're right, like there is a stigma around it, right? People are scared of rejection. That's like the biggest thing. But like you literally never know what can come from it. Like I feel like one of those experiences is worth like the 50 like rejections that you get that week, you know? So it's like you can't be scared of like chasing opportunities like that, or like you're not even really chasing it. You're pretty much like creating it for yourself by actively like going out there and like making the first move.
Yeah, interestingly, I was reading this book on sales, and I feel like oddly, it's very spiritual, but used to feel really bad about DMing people. I don't know, just because like you're just annoying people. Like who are you? But the guy was like, you need to let people know you exist, and unfortunately, like at one point they might be annoyed, but from then on, it's always worth it to let them know that you exist. Otherwise, they'll never know that you exist.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is like, and I was like, oh, true. You actually kind of have to interrupt someone's day, for them to at least know you exist.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like that will never happen. Like if I know, like I messaged her, we had like maybe a short exchange, and then she left me on red, and then I just followed up with her again, and then we hopped on a call, and now I would say she's like a close friend of mine. Like we literally called this morning. I was helping her just upload a song to Spotify, and I was like, wow, and I just felt like it was like she's my friend. Like this is sick.
Yeah.
Just from a message online. You just never know where it goes, and I was like, wow, this is like so meaningful to me. Yeah. Who else?
My best moments are always like small moments. Every once in a while I have like a thought where I'm like, all these people are spending their own money on my beats. They're listening to my music all the time. Like they could be listening to any music, they could be buying anyone's beats, but they're buying mine. I think that's just such a cool feeling. You know? So I try to be grateful for that, like every once in a while when I think about it. But yeah, just small moments.
I would say like during like initial sessions we have with artists, and we'd just be like trying to find the vibe and just like cook something up that's like in their style. And then at the end of like the session, like when we know we've cooked, then the artist is left. Like I feel like my favorite moments are actually like at the end when we're all like, guys, we cooked. And we're like, are we actually good at this? Like, it's actually our job. Damn.
Make it out the hood, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, I feel like we've had a few sessions like that where it might start really slow, and we're like, oh man, like how are we gonna do this kind of thing, like really trying to put it all in, and then maybe even in like the last half an hour it all just kind of comes together, and like you make something really really cool, and then it's like by the end we're like, oh man, like maybe we are good at music.
It's kind of like writing like an essay, because back when I was studying at uni, I'd just like be writing these essays. I'm like, bro, I have no idea what this essay is about. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm trying to argue. And like until the very end, you're like, oh, it makes sense now when you think about it. And it just, you just need that time to click. Because like, yeah, there's moments where we'll just be sitting in the session. I'm like, bro, this is some hot garbage right now. I'm like, how are we going to flip this around? And by the end of it, it's like, actually, it sounds really good. I'm like, where the fuck, how did that happen? But it just happens. You just got to trust the process, let them cook. I was even listening to like some of our earlier things, and I'm like, well, compared to our standard now, I feel like it was not that good, but yet we were still able to work with people. And I think it just came down to, because we focused on creating the friendship first, and like the music just came. But I think the first step is to focus on actually making the artist feel like they're in a safe space. And even if you are like kind of mid in the session, they won't mind because they like you.
And it's bound to happen sometimes, like music being a creative thing, like some days are going to be better than others, and like you kind of just got to roll with it. But yeah, it's like you said, if people like you, they're, you know, there's a lot of producers out there who all have different sounds and like are at different skill levels, and like chances are they've like, you know, maybe only worked with a couple of people, and like maybe they're like just starting out as well. And ultimately it's like, if they want to hang out with you, and like if you're like just a good person to be around, like, you know, over multiple sessions the music's going to be good. You have time to refine it, you know what I mean? Like obviously a trial session or like a once-off thing like can kind of be hard, and if you don't feel like you really cooked, it could be like, damn, like are they going to come back? But you got to realize, like, if they're going to lock in like say like 6 weeks worth of stuff with you, or like 6 sessions worth of stuff with you, then like it's gonna get refined and be good, but they're only gonna want to do that if they just enjoy being around you. So the actual performance in like one, you know, couple hour kind of stint is like not the biggest indicator of like whether someone will want to like spend that time with you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, I have a story kind of similar to that, which is somewhat related, but it's not directly related to music. This was back in the day when I was like 12, and I used to sell Minecraft intros online.
No way. Bro, you started early.
Yeah, I started hella early. I sold my first one for like $1, and then I worked my way up to selling them for $30.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What is 30x?
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 times my investment. But yeah, back then I ran across this dude who watched my YouTube channel back then. I remember I had about like 5,000 subscribers off it, and he was annoying me for ages. Like, he kept asking me. He was like, "Yo, can you teach me like how to make these?" Like, he's like, "I'm trying to learn whatever. Like, I can't do them that well." And I was like, "Oh, whatever." After a while, I was like, "Fine." Jumped on a Skype call with him back then, and we spoke for a bit, and he was really fucking cool. I just got on with him really well, and I was like, okay, fine, fair enough. Like, so I started teaching him some more stuff, and this dude kind of got into doing his own things. We became really good friends over the years, and we went to Minecon together when we were younger. We went to Minecon, met up with him.
How much dedicated WAM do I need to run my Minecraft server?
About 16. But funny enough, we actually got him on one of the cringe compilations too.
Really?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
in cringe
No, not me,
Oh.
my buddy, because we were all too pussy to do it. And he was the only one who had the balls. But this dude now, well, just to give you some kind of preface to it, we actually started working on music videos together a couple years back, and we kind of each went in our own directions. I kind of focused on music production. He's gone full send on music videos and his directing and everything. But now he runs his own VFX company where he does VFX for like Justin Bieber videos, all the Lyrical Lemonade videos.
Really?
And he's like one of my best mates, and I've known him like 12 years now. But like, I'll go to him and ask him for advice on like different things like networking and like the business of the music industry and stuff. But this is all through some dude who just kept annoying me about making Minecraft intros back in the day. It's my buddy Ryan. Like, shout out to him. He's absolutely killing it. But you know what I mean? Sometimes like it kind of goes to that point that you were talking about earlier, where you have to like ensure that people know about you. You have to bother them a little bit.
Interrupt them.
Yeah, interrupt their day to make sure that you're known. But then if you're just a likable person that can connect with people, or you can just chat shit for a couple of hours, you'll put yourself in amazing situations,
No, that's perfect. That's honestly so good. Yeah. I kind of want to just help people overcome that fear of like rejection, because I would do it anyway. I'd reach out to people, but I still had that fear or like feeling of insecurity of like, oh man, just like I'm just that guy in the DMs. But once I heard that thing where I'm like, well, you got to interrupt someone's day and you never know where it goes. I'm like, it really helped me like feel like it was like fine to do that. So hopefully someone listening to that who's sort of going through that now can hear that and feel okay with themselves doing it, because it genuinely leads to so many good things. Like, it only ever leads to good things.
Yeah.
And it also builds your character.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does.
But I feel like we never answered the question of what is the best business model as a producer in 2025.
Well, I think the answer is a combination of them.
Okay, but you answered already.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there's truly like one that's better than the other. It's like you need to be willing to do everything.
I think the overarching theme is that you can't rely on placements for money.
Yeah.
That's never going to work. If you want to make a living as a producer, you have to build your own business outside of placements. The only way you can live off placements is if you sign a publishing deal or if you're working with the biggest artists in the world. And for 99% of us, that's just not the case. So you need some way to generate revenue outside of that. And like Marco was saying, there's so many different avenues we have available to us nowadays. It could be sample packs, it could be type beats, it could be doing custom work, engineering, like whatever the story is, whatever your strong suit is. But yeah, you have to do something independently.
Yeah. I think one thing as well, or one thing I've learned that kind of took me a long way, was that you can't just copy someone's like method and just be like, oh, if he did this, then surely it's gonna work for me. Like sometimes it does. You can get inspiration off it, but things that for like even for you for Type B channels, right? It's like it's just different for everyone. To be fair, right? Because like me and Marco, we started our channels maybe like similar time-ish. Whatever. His one blew up like crazy, and I was like, what? That's crazy. And I was like, okay, surely next week. Surely next week. Yeah, I was like, surely next week will happen. Yeah, but like, whoa, damn. Sorry, no, no, but pretty much, right? It's like, yeah, you can't just be like, oh, if this happens, then like, like it's different for everyone. To be fair, right? Like even for me now, I thought like I still do beats every now and then, but it's mainly like piano stuff now. Like it works for me, so I'm like, oh yeah.
right.
Like might as well do it.
Playing to your strengths.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. Same thing with
Yeah.
Marco as well. Even for like what Joe was saying before about Ben. Like he just puts up like it's whatever, and people like it just works. So yeah, you can't just go like, oh okay, if this happens, then like it works. I gotta do it.
Yeah, like everyone's path is a bit different, I think going on with that, it's real interesting because like all of us here, the 5 of us, do type beats, and all of our channels they're similar, but we all like created our own niche in YouTube, right? So like what I mean by that is like when I first started, it was Summer Walker beats that popped off for me, but specifically like acoustic Summer Walker beats. That wasn't a thing on YouTube before I started posting it. I was just like I said, I was lazy, and I was like, I'll just put it up. But once it started doing well, like I just ran with it. And now when you look up Summer Walker beats, like that's the first thing that comes up. It's like acoustic Summer Walker. I created my own lane for it. Same with Joe. Like Joe's stuff is scissor acoustic beats. That wasn't a thing before. Like it wasn't a thing before him. He created that lane. And then even with like Alicia, he's starting to do beats now. He's like not trying to do like the same stuff that we're doing. He looked and found an artist where there's like a big gap in the market, and he was like screw it, I'm just gonna run with this, And like now when you look up her name, he's like the first thing that comes up. And he's only been how long have you been doing it for? Like since November. Yeah, like since November, bro. Like last year. It's like not even been a year yet. And then same thing with you, right? Yeah, Amy Winehouse beats. Yeah, so like you need to like
who's doing Amy Winehouse beats?
Yeah, like he's if you look up Amy Winehouse beats right now, he's like the first one that comes up.
That's it.
And like same with piano ballads for him. Like you need to like create your own opportunity. Like look at what works for other people, but adapt it to yourself and like make your own way. You can't just copy other people's.
Yeah, I think as well with music, it's not like your regular 9 to 5. You got like a corporate ladder you have to climb up. It's like if something works, just go with it. Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So,
It's like the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's easier to try and do like I'm very like guilty of always trying to do something different instead of just going like, oh, that worked, I'm just gonna keep doing that. Because like I don't know, it can feel like no, I got to be doing more and more and more. But I think there is definitely something to be said about following the path of least resistance. Like if it's working, it'll take you somewhere, and then you can do a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But like you got to get somewhere first, and don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you establish yourself and you have like eyeballs on you or like people paying attention to you, that gives you the freedom to like mix it up and do whatever you want. Because like even now, like I still post a lot of like acoustic Summer Walker beats. It's still my biggest thing. But I really just post whatever I want at this point. Like, and I couldn't have done that at the beginning. If I did, nothing would have happened. Like I wouldn't have gotten anywhere with it. But now I can do what I want and it's fine. I have that creative freedom. So yeah, it comes in time.
Where do you think the music industry is going in terms of AI replacing producers?
Damn, bro.
Do you think that it is like something that will genuinely replace us in the creative process, or do you think it will be more of like a co-creative thing where producers can use AI to help make better music?
This is a real like fully loaded question, but I think this also it's the same. You've got to think about this the same way that the whole like work industry is going and where people's jobs are going and all this type of stuff. I personally like to remain optimistic about the future of AI because I think if you're not, it's very easy to get depressed. in today's day and age, just thinking about, you know, potentially our whole lives being taken away. But I like to remain optimistic, and I think that AI is going to help us in the sense of it being a tool to help us get to these creative destinations much quicker, much easier, and much more accessible than where it has before. Like, I'll use this as an example, right? So back in the 90s, you would have had to go rent out a studio, most likely have been part of a major record label in order to finish a song, put it out, and to have people look at it, right? I've been fortunate enough to work with many artists who record over my beats using BandLab on their phone. And some of them have millions of streams on them, you know? And this has happened through these like advancements in technology, which people couldn't have even fathomed, like even like 15 years ago, you know? Like when I was like playing on my DS in 2008, I never thought I'd be listening to a fully produced track that somebody made on their phone. It's ridiculous. So I feel like AI, in a sense, is going to head in that same direction, where it's not necessarily going to replace us. It's just going to force us to have to become very creative with how we use it and, you know, like ultimately like think about what we're doing a lot more, because when we have access to these kind of tools where we can create like full orchestra, or like, you know, maybe our roles as like musicians kind of become less valuable in the near future. We're just gonna have to be more creative with the style of music that we make. And but I think in its current state, AI is it's very useful for like replicating people's voices and things like that. And if you look at like these kind of people that are like pushing AI artists, like that girl Zania Monet, or the girl that Timbaland's building out, Tata, yeah, like there's still people behind them. Like Timbaland's writing all her songs, you know, like as much as they're pushing it as an AI artist. Or Zania Monet, there's I can't remember the girl's name, but there's some really talented songwriter working behind all of her music, writing all her songs and doing everything that way. So I think at the moment there's a lot of hype around it, and I think it'll be really interesting to see where it goes, especially as these kind of platforms like Suno and stuff are like, you know, they become more like fully fledged out to a point where we can just type in whatever music we want and make them. But I think ultimately it will be a good thing for the long run. I think it'll just change the way that we look at music. But I'm going to remain positive about it.
I think you kind of have to be optimistic about it, because this year I've had like a not severe, but like I've had existential dread. I'm like, bro, what is the point at this point? Like if AI is just going to be so much better than us. But I think just having that mindset has just not been useful at all. Even if that may turn out to be the case, then sure, we'll just figure out something else to do. But having that like fear and like mindset for the most part of this year has just not been productive at all. So just being optimistic is just way better for your inner peace if you're going to be a producer regardless.
Yeah. And I think in a way it's like you're trying to prepare for something that like we can't even like predict, like because there's a lot of hype around it. We don't actually really know what it's going to look like. It's around such a corner that it's like, you know, it could look like a million different things. And so spending all your time like dreading over it and trying to prepare for it in that way, it's like probably not going to get you to the outcome you want anyway. And I think it's important to be optimistic. I think there'll still be a big place for human relationships in music and in art in general, because I think that's one of the big factors of creating art, is that it creates human connection, like we've been talking about this whole time. And I think if it does all go downhill, then we can't really prepare for it like super well until it's like we already see the outcome of things and then have to adapt. So I think it's important to remain positive and then adapt as you see the changes happening, instead of trying to like predict things and like dreading over it. Yeah.
No, to be fair as well, I do reckon it's like it's a very similar thing as well with like engineers before, when they had like the analog era, then like now, 'cause a lot of them were like full anti like digital, right? They're like, oh no, it's not art, it's shit. Like fuck this, you know, like pretty much, right? But now I know engineers who like completely switched because they're like, you know, well, like workflow wise, it's just easier. It's just a tool, you know, like you were saying before, you know, and like maybe you could do like get some analog gear or whatever, just like to make it like sound cool, I guess.
And people
You know?
still do that.
Yeah, people still do
Like,
it. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it will all just kind of end up having its own place in the whole workflow and the system. Yeah.
I personally see the switch. Well, I was kind of unrelated, but related. But I was watching Rao Pao talk about the switch in. Rao Pao's like a crypto guy, by the way. I was talking to him about not talking to him. I don't know him, but I was watching his video of him talk about where content and that sort of having a brand goes in the future. He reckons that it's not one-to-many in the way that you make a YouTube video and many people see it. It's going one-to-one because you can train a model to essentially be your clone, and someone can access that and have undivided attention to this like sort of bot that knows exactly how you would speak. And in that sense, if like that's sort of the way we're going, the like really personal custom creation of someone's project is going to be more fulfilling in a post-AI world because you're really getting that one-to-one connection that people are seeking when in a time where human connection or like seeing someone on the internet is not the same as like you don't actually even know if they're like a person or not. So personally I predict that the way things are going is in music is back to really personal one-to-one custom because of the nature of the human connection and the way that people value that as part of the creative process.
I think too as well. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Oh yeah. Bro, I swear you can have like a counter now on this the video. Yeah. And a bro counter. No, bro. Okay. To be honest. No, but with AI, yeah, like it's a tool thing we were saying as well. Like I don't know if it's gonna take over music, but not to be fair, but yeah, when it comes to music though, it's like kind of like, you know how for example for us like right we make type beat channels. One thing I always say to the artists as well, he always said like, oh, I want exclusive, blah blah blah, and I say like, oh, you know, I don't like do exclusives or whatever. One thing what I've noticed is that like it's not really the beat that's the full song, it's the artist, it's how they sing their melody, right? So in terms of AI, I think it's just gonna be depends how they use it, because maybe they could use the elevate, but maybe some people don't know how to do it properly, so it could just sound like a generic thing as well, you know. So yeah, I don't know, that's it. That's it.
To be fair, bro. Yeah, I feel like we talked about a lot of interesting things today. I think it's sort of maybe a natural end to the episode, but it's been really insightful to learn about your processes and your backstories and how you view production and the music game. I think and I know that this will be super valuable to newer producers or people maybe who just need some more context, some more insight from people who are further along in their path. And that's part of one of the main realizations I've had with doing this podcast. And like, just even though it's like, oh, another guy doing another podcast, but I think I wish maybe 5 years ago or 4 years ago when I started producing that I had these answers. So in that sense, I hope I can create something where someone like me can watch this and get exactly what they need to know from just from a conversation, really. So yeah, I think this information will be super valuable to somebody who's just starting out.
Hell yeah. Do we clap?
Yeah.
No, that was really good.
Yeah,
I really liked
nice.
that. That was fun.
Okay.
Let's just the audio
Yeah.
Everyone's talking like this. Yeah, so no, I thought you guys were producers. Dynamic mics, bro.
Just give it to the artist. I don't use it myself.
I kept fucking hunching like I kept.
No,
bro. You're gonna be a back
I was a
straight?
hunchback.
Yeah.
Again, if we weren't, they'd probably think there was something wrong.
Yeah.
It's kind of your job as a producer.
Yes.
Yeah. Then
So
that's
this is why I got started.
Yeah. You know what? Just
Yeah, I
put through-
started
put
a
through AI
posture
for it.
typing
Yeah,
channel.
AI can make us look good, look better.
No, I think there'll be a lot of information in there that like newer producers or even older producers who just never got it going could use to help them just with their uncertainty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with the DMing thing, like that's genuinely like something I was like, man, I just feel like kind of wrong for doing that. But then I like having that frame, like that justification has just completely switched my opinion on doing it.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Right, everything is just framing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Even like mentally.
Yeah.
Preparing yourself for
Yeah.
the cause and everything.
Yeah.
You need to like frame yourself in the right way where it's like you go into it with the best headspace, so you're not gonna like be scared or like stumble over your words and shit.
Yeah, so just having those like frames for producers and because I was a bit unsure about how to do the podcast, but I think if it's geared towards how producers can work with artists better or how they can get work with artists or essentially that kind of like beginner or just like knowledge sort of thing, or even how artists like just sort of when I speak to artists, what are some green flags in terms of how they like to be approached, what is respectable, what are do's and don'ts, I think, which I kind of think there isn't that much of. It's more about their creative process usually on a podcast or like this song that they made and that, but underlyingly I think it's like they're kind of talking about relationships, like and that's kind of what I want to focus on. So I think with that it will be super valuable because I don't think people really think about it enough. Obviously it's like, oh, you got to have a good relationship, but I don't think people think about it that often.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sweet. That was great.
Yeah.
Played well. Great.
The intro was my favorite.
What was the intro?
What's everyone's foot name?
No, we gotta cut
Also,
that.
Joe, you
We'll cut
didn't
that
unlock
shit
your
out.
laptop, so we can stop the.
It's alright, we can just use the little baby mic and put CapCut voice enhancer on.
Is it still going? Oh yeah, it is.